I am in my city building era in The Sims 4 apparently, because I'm currently building this massive royal city in The Sims 4 inspired by Edinburgh. And so far we have everything here, from the cozy pubs to the gothic cathedral to Gregg's and a chip shop. But so far I've only tackled the exteriors, and we're only like halfway done with this city because I still want to build a giant castle in the background. I'm gonna make the entire castle in one separate video, so today we're gonna be furnishing all of these buildings, except I want each one to have a secret. In my last video, I shared a bunch of stories that I discovered personally while traveling in Edinburgh. I mentioned that this place is known for its lore, its history, and its stories. So I want our build here in The Sims 4 to be drenched in lore, okay? I want everything to have a secret or a story behind it. So today we're going to start by furnishing this pub, because this is one of my favorite legends that I learned while on my travels. This is going to be a dog-friendly pub inspired by the real Greyfriars Bobby's pub. And like I said in my last video, apparently this pub is haunted because the legend has it that this dog's owner died and the dog stayed nearby in the graveyard next to his grave for like 16 years until the dog was also buried in the same graveyard nearby. And the graveyard is obviously also a real place. It's kind of like right next to the bar. So we're gonna be building that over in this empty space here as well. It'll be a little pet cemetery. It'll be cute. But first, the pub. So I'm adding this bar right here. I believe this is from Cottage Living. Yeah, and it's just gonna be tucked into this area. This way we can add our bar stools, but Sims won't be able to get back there to bartend, and like we need a bartender for our pub. So I'm gonna add this medieval looking door. This is from Get Together, and that way we can have staff come and go from that door. I just moved our little sculpture over too to make sure we have room. I want this bar to be super cozy. I feel like British bars in general have just mastered the pub cozy feel. Like the more I feel like I'm just hanging out in someone's super cozy basement, the more I personally feel at home. We need dog beds in here, of course. And I also want comfy chairs. I think upstairs I'll make like a lounge area or something. And we need a tartan pattern everywhere for this build, of course. Except I was looking through earlier and it is kind of like hard to find. Like there are a few items that will have something similar like this, but they are kind of tricky to find. So I'm gonna add a fireplace beside this one. I'm gonna save this chair and I'm adding that upstairs for now so I can change it up and use one of these patterns. And I feel like the wall has to be covered in pictures. That and flags, like Discovery University has some good ones. Ooh, they actually do have a soccer one, like just a generic soccer ball on it. Back behind here, we're gonna need a menu. This one also has like sports reference on it. Ooh, and this dog picture of the dogs just playing like the Sims version of Jenga. There's also these pictures from Get Together. There are a bunch of different swatches, which means I can reuse these. Oh my gosh, wait, this is perfect. After I finished filming my exterior video, I found this, so I also put it on the outside because that can be like our pub sign. It has the dog in it. It's perfect. This sign is actually called Ye Olde Personalized Pub Memorabilia. This is from Discovery University, and there's a bunch of different options on here. I'm gonna pick like a few of them. We can add a few more flags here and some more pictures. This build was also really fun because in my comments I got so many ideas and like other stories that people were telling, and a lot of you guys in Scotland were saying there are a ton of Irish pubs there, and they're like, I don't know why there's just a lot of Irish pubs even though you're in Scotland, but like it got me thinking there are a lot of Irish pubs where I live too, and I actually feel like most places that I've traveled also there will be Irish pubs, and I think this is a thing all over the world. Like let me know, do you guys have an Irish pub in the nearby vicinity of your house? Because they're everywhere and I'm not complaining. There's actually a song, I went to Ireland like a couple years ago, and on the way to the airport we were listening to Irish music, and I swear there's a song, okay yeah, called The Irish Pub by the High Kings, and the lyrics in that song say wherever you go around the world you'll find an Irish pub, and it's true. The legends are true. They really do be everywhere, and I think that's really cool. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and build some bathrooms. They don't have to be anything too fancy, just like a toilet and a sink. I've added a fireplace up here because I do want it to be super cozy. Ooh, wait, I found this couch from Outdoor Retreat. I feel like we have to use this pattern. I'm gonna put that over to this side, but now it doesn't really match. I mean, I guess I can bring in some more red pictures. We need more dog stuff, so Cats and Dogs also has this dog picture. I feel like a toy box could be cute, and we can actually go in and set the lot traits. We'll change it over to dog hangout, so stray dogs will hang out at this lot. Actually, my dream. It would be so cool if we could set like a little little ghost dog here too. We can add these little dog statues on the fireplace and change up the swatches so there's a bunch of different dogs. Okay, I changed up the carpet up here. I feel like it looks a lot better that way, even though I have seen carpets in the pubs. All right, bad idea, bad engineering, but this is what we've got for our dog pub, our little haunted dog pub. We've got a lounge area over there, toys, we have bowls for the dogs. I also did our bathrooms in here, again, just like a toilet and a sink. And this is a vibe. I didn't add any live music in this one. I do think we'll do that somewhere else, but I like this one. It looks super cozy. Let's move on from here. I still need to do the pet cemetery and I need to fill this space. So I'm gonna go like this and our cemetery can be somewhere in the middle. So in the last video, I found this item from Cats and Dogs G-Bug, and there are also these little pet graves. There are some regular ones too, so I guess maybe it's just like an owner and pet cemetery, which is not like the one in real life. There's only one little doggy grave, I think. So I think this has to be our tombstone for our ghost dog. And the sweetest thing ever is that visitors will actually bring this dog sticks and they'll like lay them at the grave. So of course we need a bunch of them. Whoa, that's a really big one. We'll just leave like some little branches here, of course, for our ghost dog. I also saw like little old toys, like dog toys. It's literally so sad and so cute though. I'm just gonna enclose this here using a fence from Get Together. We'll add a little bit of landscaping, and there we have our little pet cemetery. It's just a nice walking distance from our pub, and I found this giant fountain. I think I'm gonna add that right here. It's from Life and Death Debug, and then I can just draw this terrain paint leading around, so this can be part of the pathway. And then we've got this space filled over there, and it's just like a nice outdoor space. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to my favorite place, and that is Gregg's. This is like our little fast food alleyway. We've got our Gregg's and we have the fish and chip shop beside it. So let's go ahead and build Gregg's. If you missed me talking about this in my last video, or if you've never been to Gregg's, it is kind of like this fast food British chain where you can go and get like the best sausage rolls. Okay, they're probably not the best, arguably, but they are pretty dang good. And if anyone has another sausage roll recommendation actually in Scotland, please tell me, because I will check it out. Gregg's is like the kind of place where you just grab something on the go. For me personally, I order like 10 sausage rolls and put them in my purse. I'm not kidding. But they do also have other things. I know I don't make it seem like it, but there are other things like pastries and like cakes and stuff. They also have coffee. I always get like the iced vanilla latte. So we'll make a little coffee area over here. And then these are actually tattoo shelves. They're from Businesses and Hobbies, but I feel like we could add cups in here or coffee storage. I think I'll add a sink here and also a dishwasher. I don't know what you would need it for. I'll add the espresso machine right here. And then we also need the grinder. We could add this little coffee sign. And then we're gonna need the displays. And in here, I'm just gonna add any pastry I can possibly find in this game. What are the odds that I'm gonna find a sausage roll? Oh my gosh, we have one from Discovery University. Oh my gosh, bless. They're so tiny. I would need like 50 of these. Okay, well, I'm gonna size it up and I'm just gonna place a bunch of these in the cabinet. Okay, great. They're probably a little nicer lined up than that. This can be Gregg's after I've been through with it. What other kind of food does Discovery University have? Okay, we have sweetbread, we've got croissants, we have scones. Okay, these little things, they're like potato scones. They're triangles. They look just like this. They're kind of hard to find where I live. You have to go to like a British bakery to get them. Like they're not really served at regular breakfast places at all, but in the UK, they're everywhere. Like these potato scones are breakfast staples, and I'm not kidding you, this is one of my favorite foods ever. I could eat like a million of these dipped in ketchup. Oh my gosh, they're so good. My pockets might be full of sausage rolls, but my suitcase for the way home is full of potato scones. Like I will bring a big suitcase, not so that I can put my things in it, so that I can fill it up with potato scones and bring them home and freeze them. Because like I said, you cannot find them in regular grocery stores here. Like you have to go find a British bakery, and sometimes they sell out because they're so good. This is making me so hungry. And we're doing the fish and chip shop after this too. I think the only thing I want to do on this first floor is maybe add a couple tables, just some simple ones here so people could like eat their sandwich or whatever, drink their coffee before leaving. All right, so there we go. We've got our Gregg's. I added a couple screens up here since I feel like in most fast food restaurants, their menus are up there like that anyway. Then we've got our regular menus over here. We've got all of our food, a little bit of a dining space there, and then upstairs, we still need to add our secret here. I did add a bathroom, but that's not the secret. Up here, I'm going to add a cauldron, and this is where we're going to be making our sausage rolls since there's magic in those little things anyway. I guess I should make it a different room if it's going to be a secret, and we can hide it behind this bookshelf door. I'm going to add a couple of these display cases from Businesses and Hobbies. I'll also add this up here. This is from Get to Work. That might just be like coffee or tea for sale. And then I'm also just going to add a couple tables here too. I always wondered what this picture was, like what those were. They kind of look like coins or like cinnamon rolls. It says they're buns, so whatever they are, they're going on the wall. And then in our cauldron room, maybe I could add some like pots and pans on the wall. We can add some aprons on here. I mean, Sims can make mac and cheese in there. I don't think Gregg's has mac and cheese, but whatever, we do have our cauldron where we could make magic sausage rolls. That is just funny. Okay, moving on from here, let's go do our next restaurant. And like I said, this is going to be a fish and chip shop, but not any fish and chip shop. This one is going to be inspired by Blue Lagoon, which is a Scottish fish and chip franchise. And I love this place because they are so campy with their decor. Like, there is neon everywhere, first of all. Everything is like super nautical, fish themed. I'm gonna change the lighting in here so it's like super blue. And then I can add a table here, so we'll have a little booth table. I have been here a couple times. I went there once to like sit down and actually try the fish and chips. And then I also went there once late. They're open pretty late, so I went there after the pub. And they don't just have fish and chips, they also have other things, usually like fried things. I did try haggis here and it was delicious. The haggis fingers are actually really good. But after the pub, I got a steak pie, and this might be the heaviest, most like disgustingly delicious thing I've ever had after the pub, because it is just this massive tray of like meat pie, but it was so good. So I'm gonna add these fish from Dine Out. Dine Out actually has a lot of this fish inspired decor, which is nice, I guess, if you wanted to build like a fancy seafood restaurant. Ooh, wait, I found this wallpaper from high school years. This kind of looks like the wallpaper they've got. We've got these little fridges. We have like a waiter stand, and then there's a cash register if you wanted to order takeout. So that's gonna be our bottom floor. And then for the top floor, the one I went to had like a whole boat in it. Like, it was really extra. I don't think I'll have enough room for that, so I just added those barrels over there. They're from Get Famous. I'm gonna add these tables, which are from the Little Campers kit, and I'm just adding menus on them from Dine Out. Ooh, we could add a fish tank. I feel like we should also add a bathroom, so I'm just gonna section this off. It can be small, we just need room for a toilet and sink, and I feel like we need some more neon. Okay, so this is the upstairs of our fish and chip shop. There's also a little host stand over here, some tables for seating, and of course we have our little bathroom. And I was thinking about our secret for this one. I want to add a pool somewhere. Obviously I can't do it on the top floor. I'm not going to be able to do it on the bottom floor either, so what if we did a secret basement pool? So I'm going to grab the basement tool, and I'm just going to draw a room under here, so that's right below it. Perfect. And then I need to add a ladder. I guess it's not going to be a secret if you're in here already, like you're going to see the ladder. And where should I put it? Maybe in the corner, since you can still walk around this way. I set some neon lighting, and then I'm just going to go ahead and draw my pool. That can go right there, and then our fish and chip shop also has a pool. I'm adding some neon in here. I'll add some similar decor from upstairs, and we can even add some of these fish fountains. This is so random down here, but there we go. We've got our fish and chip shop pool. Moving on to the clock tower. This building could be full of secrets. I feel like it's just gonna be one single person that lives here. Maybe they've been tending this clock tower for years or decades or centuries. So in the second floor, I punched out a hole so that we could add the ladders. I'm adding one leading up to the second floor, and then this one leads all the way up to the third floor. And then we just need one more ladder leading up to the top floor. And this clock tower is not going to get any visitors. Maybe it's closed to the public, and no one really wants to visit in here anyway, because legend has it it's just this grumpy, mean old man living here. He controls the clock tower, but that's all anyone really knows about him. So I was trying to think of what our secret could be, and I was thinking maybe this guy is working on clocks all the time. Maybe he's an inventor. This floor, actually all of these floors are going to be a little squishy, hence why our bed is right beside the ladder. So maybe on the floor below this I'll add a woodworking table, and this floor can can be like the inventing floor, but on the top floor, this is his most prized possession, the weather machine. So not only is he controlling the clock tower, he's also controlling the weather. For the top of the clock tower, I wish we could see through the clock. Like, I feel like normally you can see the other side of it, but since we just have the clocks on the outside, it doesn't work like that. So I'm just gonna size these up as if they are the back of the clock. It's just like a regular like base game clock. And I was just searching through for some extra clock art and I found this. How cool is this? We absolutely have to add this to our build. I don't know how I'm gonna do it though. I just placed this over in the corner and I'm gonna move this in for a second so I can shrink it. I'm gonna delete this part of the wall and actually I'll delete them both. So this way I should just be able to grab this part and move it around. And then we can go up to one of the free walls up here and I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna shrink this light so it's still gonna be facing the clock. I am just gonna move it over if possible though. I'm surprised I was able to do that. To be able to tilt this clock on an angle like this gallery user did, you have to use the tool mod and I don't have that, so I'm surprised I can move it properly. I do want to just add some regular wallpaper here so we can see that, and I'm gonna change the lighting up here to blue, except for that like red glow. So this can just be like a mad inventor's lair up here. Why do we have the Vecna clock? I haven't figured that out yet. It just looks cool and I cannot pass up that opportunity. I'm hiding the light there with a barrel, and then the restoration kit has like clutter that would make sense in this scenario, so I'm just gonna add that on top of the barrel. And then since this is clearly a magical place, I'm gonna add the lights here from Love Struck. I don't want to add too much because I want to make sure we can still use the weather machine, so maybe on the wall I'll just add these blueprints from Discover University. And then also from base game there's this art and there's a little clock like taken apart on there. I feel like that's perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be our clock tower top floor. I want to make sure this sim also has everything they need to survive, so I'm just adding a kitchen. It's gonna be pretty basic, like we just have that tabletop oven from Dream Home Decorator. Underneath that I'm gonna add a mini fridge. I'll leave these counters open for prep because they're gonna have a sink in the bathroom, and then over in the corner I'm just gonna add some bookshelves. It can just be like a little reading spot. Clearly this sim is very smart. Oh, and I also just found this. If you have cottage living, you can make like cross-stitching projects, and this user turned them into vintage clocks. I'm gonna download these and we'll place these around the build. And then I've also just been placing every other clock I can find. Okay, so this is our like bedroom floor slash pretty much living quarters. Everything is up here. They have the bathroom. There's a little bookshelf back there for reading, mini fridge, and our toaster oven. And then for the bathroom, they have everything. They've got the shower, they have their sink and toilet. This looks so cool so far. But then for the second floor, I think this is where I want to put all of my spare projects, or even some bigger clocks. Like we could add the grandfather clocks down here. Maybe this guy just like finds old clocks and fixes them. We could even try and add a little TV in one of them, like a little living room. I'll squeeze this table into the corner, and then we can just find an old TV like this one that's from the basement kit, and then we just need a chair, something that looks homemade, like maybe even this eco lifestyle one. I need to squeeze these though so that we have room like into the wall as far as possible. By the way, if you guys are new here, a lot of people in my community know this already, but I highly encourage you to read my comment section because people always write stories about the Sims that live in these builds, or stories about the buildings in general. It's like one of my favorite things about this community. I love reading them, and I feel like you guys have been doing that since the beginning. So if you ever have a story about anything you see in my videos, feel free to write it because I love reading them. Okay, so this is the second floor of the clock tower. There's tons of little nooks in here, like the TV nook. There's the grandfather clock nook, just like some open projects maybe. And there's the woodworking corner. And then for the bottom floor, like the first floor when you walk in, I think I'm gonna try and make it look abandoned. Like I found this gear clutter from Werewolves. I'm adding a bunch of this around, so maybe if anyone did enter, I'm assuming the doors would be locked, but if not, maybe they would see all of this and think twice. And we'll also add the keep out signs for good measure. Okay, so that is is our clock tower. Tons of secrets going on there. I think I'll save the townhouses for last. So I think next we're gonna go do this little strip of shops. There are 3 of them. This one is inspired by Victoria Avenue with all of the colorful houses. And for the first one, I think we should build a tartan shop. But I think I'd like this to be a vintage tartan shop so we can sell like clothing with like the tartan pattern on it, or as close that we can find. Maybe we sell some scarves in here, blankets, furniture, anything that will fit into the cozy shop vibe. But in the back here, I think I want to add a speakeasy. We haven't added one of those yet. And the secret sanctuary kit has a really cool bookshelf door. From this side, it looks like bookshelves, but then of course, on the other side is just a regular door. So maybe we can sell books in here too. And if you don't know what a speakeasy is, it's basically like a hidden bar. Like usually a bar, sometimes they have food, and they're always hidden somewhere, like somewhere really random like this in a shop. Or maybe the only way to find them is by going into an alley and knocking on the door 3 times. Sometimes you need a secret password. Either way, it's like a hidden bar. And I have never been to one of these. I love the idea of it. I think it's so cool. I just have never done it. I don't know why. I'm scared of like not finding it or them not letting me in for some reason. I don't know. I've currently added a ton of mannequins, which is a little creepy looking right now, but I'm gonna dress them up in the tartan pattern because I kind of doubt that we're gonna find it in actual hanging clothing. Like I'm gonna go through all of these and see if maybe there's like a tartan pattern that I can find. I don't know how likely that's gonna be though. Okay, yeah, I've done a little peek through. I haven't had any luck, so I'm gonna add these shelves just over here in the corner. These are from high school years. There are a bunch of different colors in here too. Then we can add a mirror at the end. I went ahead and found as much tartan as I could find in Create a Sim, so now I just have to go through and dress my mannequins. There are actually some really cute ones. Like look at this from the Crystal Creations kit. Cottage Living has a cute one. Dream Home Decorator. And then how cute are all our little fit? And now I'm gonna work on the speakeasy part of this. It's not the biggest space we have back here, so I need a smaller bar. Behind it I can add these barrels from cats and dogs. And I think I wanted to have a little bit of a creepy vibe in here. I'm gonna add these candles. These are from Dine Out. From Horse Ranch we can add these storage racks. And we don't have a ton of room for tables. Maybe we can fit 1 or 2. For the most part I feel like you'd be standing at the bar or just like standing around. So I'll just add a couple of these chairs from Werewolves. I added in a speaker in here, and then we also have these torches in here from Life and Death. So this is our speakeasy in the back of the shop. Honestly, such a vibe. I do feel like this table has to go though, so it'll just be 1 table just for spacing purposes, but still a really cool little spot. I did find these pictures on the gallery, so I'm just gonna add those there. I did manage to find 1 similar pattern, so I'm adding this clothing rack right here. And this little shop is so cute and cozy looking. I was just kind of assuming that these are scarves or like blankets on this little table. I think for the upstairs we're gonna have to add more bookshelves though, so that our bookshelf door doesn't look so suspicious. So we can add some bookshelves by the stairs. And then I'll add these shelving units from Businesses and Hobbies. And then from Debug we can find a bunch of books that we can just add here for sale. Maybe some of them could be whimsical books too. We could add some of them from Realm of Magic. We can add one of these market stalls in the middle, and I might turn this into a reading nook, and we can just have these archways leading in there. I did find these curtains from Cats and Dogs. I'm gonna add these on the windows. I'm adding a couple more of our mannequins, and this is how our shop turned out. I added these little rocking chairs just in between the bookshelves. Maybe they can be for sale, maybe they're just for reading purposes. We have a little market stall in the middle. I feel like it just looks like those things are like thrift items. There's another mirror here, there's a purse wall, we have our mannequins to this side, and then I also did add a reading nook. Just a couple of chairs and another bookshelf, and maybe we can use a couple more mannequins here too. Okay, so that is our tartan shop. But first, I had to take a quick break. I had to go to the gym, move around a little bit. This is a big one again. But I'm really excited for this shop because a lot of people were suggesting ghost tours. There are so many different ghost tours that you can take here in Edinburgh. But one that stood out to me in particular is the ghost tour bus, because the entire bus is dressed up in this like vintage style. And like the interior of the bus is sort of like a mini haunted house in itself. I've never done this. It just drove by me one day and I looked looked on the interior and I was like, I think they've decorated in there, and it looked really cool. So that's what we're gonna do for this little shop. I'm trying to make this look like how the bus is laid out on the bottom floor. So this could be like a ghost museum. Maybe you come in here and hear about the legends, or like a ghost library even. So I think all these pictures of Guidry are a must. This is the ghost from The Sims 4 Paranormal that can actually come to life, and like he'll teach you all about the paranormal. And that's kind of what a ghost tour is like in the first place. They'll take you around, tell you about the paranormal stories. So I think we should take the hobby sharing board from Businesses and Hobbies, and Sims can use this to mentor other Sims, and they use it to host a class essentially. So maybe we could get Guidry to host little classes, and that's how Sims can learn about the stories of this city. On the bus, they also have these little lamps. They're like little fringe lamps, kind of like these ones from high school years. And then we'll just add a rug down the center. Near the stairs, I'm just gonna add some tarot art. Ooh, maybe we could do tarot reading upstairs. That would be kind of wild. Okay, so this is gonna be the downstairs, inspired by the ghost bus. This is as close as we're gonna get to like a full ghost tour, I think, but kind of a vibe. And then upstairs, we definitely need a seance table from Paranormal. We'll add some worn chairs around it, and then I think I do want to make it like a museum sort of thing, so I'm gonna add this. This is a really pretty hutch from Paranormal, and inside there I'm gonna add these little ghost jars. Then we could add some big bookshelves right here, and then on these shelves we could add some paranormal clutter. I wouldn't mind having some proper seating here too, and it feels too bright in here. I need to get rid of some lights. I think I'll get rid of some downstairs too, and we can replace them with these life and death candles. Oh yeah, these are gonna look so much better down here. I kind of want to do a ghost tour next time. Okay, yes, that changed the mood entirely. I feel like this would be such a fun place for Sims who are into occult stuff to hang out. I'm actually considering moving all of this stuff back and just like shifting some stuff around a little bit. We don't actually need this drawer because we have one on the other side, so this can be pushed over in the corner. And then back here behind the bookshelf, we can add a little tarot reading area. I'll just add a little rug here, maybe some cushions from Life and Death. I'm adding a stool here from Jungle Adventure, and then on there I'm just gonna raise up the tarot deck, and then I'm gonna line the walls with more tarot cards here. Now we've got our tarot spot in the back, and then right here before the tarot area, I'm just gonna add this no ghosts allowed sign, maybe discouraging anyone from coming back here, no unwanted guests. But there we go, we've got a ghost library slash tarot reading room slash seance room. I feel like the bottom floor is for like beginners, like this is where you learn, and then upstairs is where you actually study. But I like it. This is a really cool room. Okay, moving on to the final shop. I had a lot of suggestions for a whiskey distillery, and I feel like that could be really cool, like an old medieval sort of whiskey distillery. But what if our whiskey distillery had a secret wedding venue? I feel like it's really common for people to have their weddings in like wineries or distilleries or things like that, and they can be really beautiful. So I'm gonna have a secret ladder back here. That's gonna lead down into our basement. Oh, I was like, what is this over here? It's our chip shop pool, of course. So let's do the basement wedding venue first. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna keep with this old brick, and we'll use Journey to Badu flooring. I was looking through for wedding arches, and I feel like this might be our best bet. This one is from Enchanted by Nature, but then behind it I'm gonna add this from Horse Ranch. The thing with a whiskey distillery is it's kind of like a little more rugged, I guess, than a winery. We're definitely gonna have barrels. I'm gonna use these from Horse Ranch. Maybe we can stack them on top of each other, and I'll do that on both sides. And then also from Horse Ranch we have these. Again, these are meant for wine or like juice, I guess, in The Sims 4, but I think they'll pass as whiskey barrels. And I'm also gonna stack these on both sides. Oh my gosh, this is reminding me of that one scene in Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, it was like the wildfire explosion scene. So iconic, so good. That is a show I really want to rewatch. I actually have seen that show, like most seasons of that show, multiple times, but like everyone else, I hated the ending, so I have never rewatched it since, but I feel like maybe it's time. Like my dogs are literally named after Arya and Nymeria, so like I was obsessed with this show, and then I was so let down. To be fair though, it kind of altered the way I think about show finales in general. Like I was prepared for Stranger Things to flop at the end. Not that I even think that finale was bad, but like I was prepared. I feel like Game of Thrones actually also altered my perception of television in general, because like I'm fully literally over here expecting like main characters to just be dying. Like the thing with that show is that no one was ever safe. It was so unpredictable and you like hated but loved that aspect of the show. So maybe I will have to rewatch after building this room. I can't unsee that scene now, but there we go. This is actually really pretty. Back here I just added some mirrors for some decor, and there we go. We have a whole secret wedding venue in our distillery. We still need a door over here. Maybe I'll make it kind of discreet, like it can just be beside this stack of barrels. And then there's this bar back we can add. This is also from Get Together, and maybe I'll add a smaller bar right here so you could do like tastings. We can add these on the wall from base game, and then we can just add some pictures on the wall like these ones from the Casanova Cave kit, so that can be our whiskey tasting room. And then we do still have the upstairs, and I didn't make a live music venue yet, so let's do that upstairs. I'm gonna add this busking station with a guitar nearby and maybe also a violin. I want this to be really casual. Like I wish we could use these barrels as actual tables. Maybe we could just add some stools and have them facing like the busking station, and I'll add a few of these around, and like all of the chairs can just be facing each other. So Sims aren't necessarily sitting at the table, but they can sit there and still like talk to each other. And this way we still get that messier sort of bar look. It's not as nice and cozy as the other one, but it's still gonna be a really fun time. I'm gonna add these curtains in here from base game. I like that this distillery looks like super old. I add some more barrels over here, maybe with some hanging plants. We can use this Castle Estate wall decor. And there we go. We've got our whiskey distillery live music venue. This is another really cool spot. I feel like our Sims living here are not going to be short on entertainment. That's for sure. But there we go. We're done all of these shops, and now we're ready to tackle the cathedral. So what I've already done here is punched out the middle floor. So this is technically 2 stories where there's like no floor in the middle. And then what I'm also going to do is separate it. So I'm drawing a wall here, and I'm going to raise this up on a platform, and we'll add some stairs here leading up. I moved it over a little bit, but now we have our platform, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to add marble flooring, and this cathedral, if you missed the first video, is inspired by the St. Giles Cathedral. And I actually did go inside this one. It is stunning. There's so many details in there. It looks so old, probably because it is very, very old. And when I was there was just someone there playing the piano. So I'm going to add a piano facing the rest of the room like this. We can surround that with a couple podiums. Maybe I'll add some of these books here from vampires, but then I really want to include architectural details in here. Like I want to add these fancy columns. These are from Realm of Magic, and we're going to use quite a few of these. And then also up top, I've left these bump outs with a wall in front. Like behind, this is what they look like. They make sense, but on the interior, they kind of don't. But we're going to change that by just adding a base game column. And that's going to open this up. There's going to be like a ledge there. Then I'm going to add this fencing piece from Get Together. I'm adding that to all of them. And then we can go in here and add some statues overlooking the rest of the room. I want them to be kind of all the same in height and like color. So there we have a few statues there. And then also another thing I noticed in this cathedral is that there are so many flags. There were flags everywhere, so I'm going to place those as well. I think I'll also add some knights in here. And then I want to add our chairs, but I can't forget about the top floor of this building. There's a room up top here where we could have a sim live. So we're gonna have to add a ladder somewhere. I feel like anywhere I add it is just gonna get in the way. But like the room doesn't extend all the way over, so my options are kind of limited. Maybe if I surround it with columns, it won't be that bad. Okay, we need some organs. I'm gonna add maybe 2 of them over here. And then for more seating, I'm gonna add these from Get Together. I'll add more of those on this side. I'm also gonna add these from Life and Death. And then for the final thing, we need some chandeliers, which this room already is so big. The chandeliers look tiny in comparison, but here we have our cathedral. But we can't forget about our secret in here. And I was thinking something so random and kind of extra would be to add butterflies at night. So I'm assuming this place would be closed at night, right? No one can get in other than the owner, but maybe a legend has it that at night you can see butterflies flying around the cathedral. These come with adventure awaits, and I'm just like shrinking them and hiding them under all the furniture. To make this a reality, you would have to like delete them every single day. It would be a commitment. I can also hide them up here like behind the statues. And then at nighttime when the sun goes down, you're gonna see all of these little magical butterflies flying around the cathedral. Look at them everywhere. It looks so pretty with the background right now. And then for the top floor, we can make the sim who's living here like a butterfly collector. Oh wait, also look how pretty they look flying around in here. That is so pretty. I mean, I guess you could keep them all the time, but I think it would be cool if like you came in there and there were no butterflies there. You only see them at night. Okay, and then upstairs can just be like a normal room, but we'll have everything they need up here. Like we can add a kitchen. I'm using appliances from Cottage Living, and then my counters are from For Rent. And then we could add a little divider here. We'll do a little table and chairs in the center. And then I'm also gonna add some bookshelves here. I think tapestries from vampires could look good in this room. I'm gonna add a couple of them. I'm also adding these base game counters above my kitchen. And then we can add some shelves here for the butterflies. Again, Adventure Awaits has butterflies that you can collect, so I'm gonna add a bunch of these in here. Maybe we also have a little caterpillar incubator. I'm adding an end table near the bed. And then we can also hide some butterflies up here. And there we have the top floor of our cathedral. There are butterflies in here. I don't know why they're not flying around. Maybe they're all downstairs. Like I hid them under the table and under the bed and stuff, but I don't see them anywhere. Maybe I've reached the butterfly limit on this a lot. Who knows? But we do have a bathroom over here. I added a little butterfly picture in it. They've got a bathtub. I also added a sink. And then they also have a walk-in shower over here. They've got their toilet. And I can't stop looking at that building in different lighting. Like, look at it. The lighting in general right now is making everything look so pretty. But now that we're done with all of our commercial lots, we can move on and do the houses. So for the first townhouse, I really want to build something whimsical. And I would love to have a secret, like Narnia situation, like a secret closet or a secret room behind a closet. So this is going to be for someone that maybe frequents the like ghost tour, ghost library. Maybe they also frequent the pet cemetery. They're a little whimsical. I'm gonna add a fireplace here in the corner with a TV here. And I'm gonna surround that with these columns from Enchanted by Nature. Oh, it could be for the tarot reader. I might add some of these ferns over top. I'll add a couch from Realm of Magic, a bookshelf here, and a little end table with a phone. So far we have a cute little living room. We've got our kitchen. I also added a small dining table right there. And then for the bathroom, we're going with a similar vibe. It's kind of planty, a little nature inspired. We've got some tarot. But then going upstairs, this is where I want to have the secret room. But first we obviously need a bedroom. I'm surrounding the bed again with these columns, and I'm just gonna raise this up. I'll bring this forward a little bit so Sims can get in there. I feel like that looks really pretty. I'll add just a regular dresser right here. I'll add this mirror from the basement kit, a seating area over here. And for the closet, we're gonna need room. So maybe I can kind of go like this, and then the closet can be at the front. Like this part here will be the closet, and then in the back we're gonna have our secret room. Oh my gosh, wait, you know what we could do? Okay, we're gonna use a secret bookshelf door, but I want to sort of hide it. Like I'm gonna add some shelving on there. I can add some clothes. I can also add some shelves over here. I'll add a bunch of clutter. We can make it super messy looking in here, just like laundry bins. Maybe there's another mirror in here, and like that can be our closet. But in the back we are going to add a listening device, and this can be the tarot reader from the Ghost Museum. And I hate to tell you this, but they're a fraud. They have this listening device, so they keep tabs on everyone else in the city, any visitors. That way they know already like a bunch about them, and then they can use that to their advantage. That's a secret listening device in your closet that exposes you as a fraud. Absolutely brutal. And all right, this is a house for our fake tarot reader. I wonder if they're gonna get caught. If they did, it would have to be by someone who like is really close with them and is going through their closet, the cleaner or something maybe. Otherwise, they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing. Okay, let's move on from here to the next house. And for this one, a lot of people suggested that we build an orphanage. So we need a big table right here, which I filled up with crafts. There are board games and puzzles on there. I want to have art all over the walls, like any of this stuff from Parenthood, any like art that maybe the kids drew. This can be like an official certificate. So we've got a little dining room there. And then on this side, we can build our kitchen. I actually recently watched The Queen's Gambit, which is about a girl who comes from an orphanage, and she ends up getting really, really good at chess from playing in the basement with the janitor. So I think we're gonna have to build a basement, like a laundry room or something, where one of the orphans is secretly playing chess down there and becoming a chess prodigy. As final things in here, I'm just adding a toy box. We've got the bulletin board. So here we have the downstairs of the orphanage. Orphanage. Full dining table here. I could probably even fit one more chair. So we can have 8 Sims living here. I'm assuming they're all children though. No toddlers living here. I didn't add any high chairs. I also didn't add any like potties or anything to the bathroom. We just have the toilet. But we've got the bathtub and shower combo. Hopefully they can get in and out of there a little quickly. Maybe I can add an extra bathroom in the basement. So I'm just gonna make this into a laundry room. I'm using stuff here from laundry day. We can have these like shelves right here. I'm adding regular laundry day essentials, including a couple hampers. I've made this archway. I think I'm gonna make it into a cleaning closet so we can add in some vacuums and like the brooms on the wall. Perfect. And then on the other side, this is gonna be where we need our chest set up. And then I've added some shelving in the back. I'm just adding some extra like chest stuff here. These are chest trophies from high school years. So that's gonna be our little chest area. And then yeah, I'm just gonna build another quick little bathroom here just because if there are gonna be 8 Sims living here, we're gonna need more than one bathroom. And I mean, it's not that bad. I've definitely seen worse. And then upstairs, we're now faced with the challenge of adding as many bunk beds as possible. Like, okay, we can get one set here. That's gonna be 2 Sims. We could do another set right here. So we have 4. And I feel like we could even do 2 more sets right here. So then we have 8. We are still gonna need to make a room for the caretaker though. So we're gonna have to have another bedroom. But I am adding these pictures of like the kids underneath. We can also add some of these flags. Maybe they go to like camp together or something. We can have a rug here, another toy box. I'll add a cute chair right here and a dresser. I'm just gonna add a couple more little posters. And there we go. We have a room for 8 kids. This is gonna be such a full house. And they also have like nothing to do. So I feel like next door, I'm gonna have to add a jungle gym or something for them. A school would have been cool too. Maybe they go off the lot for that. Or we do still have room in the castle. The castle is gonna be massive. So we could theoretically fit a school in there or like another shop. I did still want to build like a little coffee shop other than Gregg's. So like maybe part of the castle could be open to the public. I don't know. Let me know what you want to see included in the castle. If you just want it to be for like a big royal family or if we want part of it to be open to the public, let me know. But okay, now we have our caretaker's room. We have everything we need for our orphanage. I have no idea what to do in this one. I feel like maybe I'll make it for the owner of the pub since it is right next door. So I'm giving them a similar cozy vibe and maybe they're just like a massive sports fan. Adding the fan flags. We'll do like a bit of a rundown couch. Maybe this sim plays soccer or used to play, so we can add a soccer ball and like a sports book. I'm also gonna add some lights in here, just like tying it together a little bit. And there we go. This is where you're going to watch a game if you're not going to the pub. Did we add any TVs in the pub? I don't think I did. I'll move some of this stuff around so that I can have a couple TVs at least. Like I can add one here and maybe one just over here in the corner. Okay, I've added my bathroom here. And now for the upstairs, what is their secret gonna be? The other ones are pretty good. Okay, maybe this is like an old retired soccer player. They keep all their trophies on display, but I want to say they retired earlier. Something happened. I don't know what yet though. Maybe they got kicked out and it's been a long time, so like no one recognizes them anymore. We could add a vanity, like they changed their appearance or something. Ooh, maybe they were a fighter. Maybe they got kicked out for fighting, but this made them change. Maybe now they're a completely different person. They've got their pub. They've changed, but they still have that bad reputation, so that's why they have the vanity. And they've completely changed their appearance as the new humble pub owner. And there we go. Now everybody in this town has a secret. Some of them are a little more scandalous than others, but this is how our final room turned out. And that is this entire lower part of the city complete. I do still have to build a castle. Again, let me know any ideas you have for that. If we want to open maybe even the bottom floor to the public or just make it a really rich royal family's house. Let me know your favorite part about this build. And if you guys liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.